A poor single mother asked for leftovers. What happened next changed their lives forever. She stood by the restaurant back door, shivering from hunger and shame. Her daughter's tiny fingers clutched her torn dress. All she needed was the leftovers they were throwing away. But what she got instead was a miracle that would rewrite their destiny forever. The sun had already set behind the busy city of Crystal Heights, and the evening lights flickered alive as families rushed into restaurants for warm dinners. But for Maria Benson, a struggling single mother, this was the most painful time of the day because it reminded her of everything she could not give her child. Little Lily, only 5 years old, tugged gently on her mother's arm. "Mommy, my tummy is talking again," she whispered, trying not to cry. Maria forced a weak smile, brushing her daughter's curly hair. "I know, baby. Mommy will find us something to eat, I promise." Her life had changed completely after losing her husband in a terrible accident and losing her job during a company downsizing. Now she cleaned houses only a few days a week and slept with Lily on a cold mattress inside an abandoned building. She never begged for food, but today she could not watch her daughter starve. With trembling legs, she walked toward Moonlight Palace Restaurant, the biggest and richest dining place in the city, owned by the billionaire Alexander Monroe. Maria reached the back door where workers were laughing while carrying trays of leftover food to the garbage bins. "Excuse me," she said softly. "Please, we have not eaten all day. If you have any leftovers you want to throw away, can you give them to us?" The workers stared at her with rude frowns. "Go to the shelter," lady one shouted. "We are not allowed to give food out of the back door," another mocked. Then they slammed the door in her face. Maria bit her lip to keep her tears from falling. Lily hugged, her mother's leg trying to hide her hunger. Just as they turned to leave, the door slowly opened again. A tall, older woman with gray hair stood holding a tray of fresh food. "Sweet girl, are you hungry?" she asked gently. Looking at Lily, Lily nodded, very hungry. The woman smiled warmly and gave her the tray. Maria lifted her eyes full of gratitude. "God bless you, ma'am." "Thank you." The woman looked more closely at them. "What are your names?" she asked Maria. "And this is my daughter." "Lily," Maria replied. The woman nodded with understanding in her eyes. "My name is Elizabeth," she said. What Maria did not know was that this woman was the mother of the billionaire owner himself. Elizabeth asked them to wait. Soon she returned with warm coats, more food, and hot chocolate. "Come with me," she insisted softly. Maria and Lily followed her into a beautiful black car that drove through golden gates into a massive mansion that looked like a palace. Maria froze in shock, thinking she had made a mistake. Elizabeth smiled kindly. "There is no mistake, dear. I want to help you." Inside, they met Alexander Monroe, a tall, handsome billionaire with a commanding presence, yet soft, curious eyes. "Mother, who are they?" he asked Elizabeth, smiled. "Guests with a story you should listen to." Maria explained everything: her struggles, her hunger, her pain, her pride, and how she only asked because she could no longer let her daughter suffer. Alexander listened without blinking. "Why did you not ask for help earlier?" he asked quietly. Maria swallowed. "Because I have pride, sir. I want to work for what I eat. But today hunger defeated my pride." Her honesty struck him deep. Elizabeth placed her hand on his and whispered, "She reminds me of you when your father died. Remember how you fought to survive?" Alexander nodded slowly and looked at Maria with a changed expression. The next morning, Elizabeth called Maria with a joyful smile. "Maria, I need a personal assistant, someone responsible, hard-working, and loyal. Would you take the job?" Maria gasped with tears filling her eyes. "Yes, thank you so much." Elizabeth turned to Lily with a motherly smile. "And you, my dear, will go to the best school in Crystal Heights." Lily squealed and Jump hugged her. Alexander added quietly, "You will both live here. You deserve a safe home." Maria fell to her knees crying. I do not know how to thank you. Elizabeth raised her up. You already thanked us by being brave enough to ask for help. Months passed, and Maria transformed from a woman surviving each day to a woman filled with dignity and hope. Her steps became lighter, her smiles brighter. Her eyes no longer carried fear but dreams waiting to come true. She learned to laugh again, a sound she thought she had lost forever. Lily blossomed like a flower watered by love, and care, her once tired face, now shined like morning sun. Every morning Lily ran through the mansion, giggling, filling every corner with the joy of a child who finally had a childhood. She made friends at school and always came home with drawings of her and her mommy and Grandma Elizabeth, and sometimes Alexander secretly drawn with a crown, because he was like a king to her. Maria started discovering her hidden skills. She organized events. She managed schedules. She solved problems with kindness and intelligence. The staff respected her, not because she was saved, but because she had the heart of a fighter. Elizabeth treated her like a daughter, fussing over her hair and clothes and teaching her everything she needed to rise higher than she ever dreamed. And Alexander. He noticed everything. How Maria gently held Lily every night, how she encouraged everyone around her, how she always placed others first, even when she had nothing. Sometimes he found himself watching her from afar, the way she smiled when Lily hugged her, the determination in her eyes when she worked. His heart softened in a way he had not felt in years, since he had sealed it with walls of work, wealth, and loneliness. One beautiful evening during a grand dinner, Alexander stood and lifted a glass, his voice deep and sincere, to two special people who reminded us that kindness saves lives. The guests applauded loudly, but Maria lowered her gaze, her cheeks warm with shyness, her heart beating like a drum. After the toast, Alexander walked closer, his voice barely above a whisper. You saved us too, Maria. You reminded us what love looks like. Maria, who once begged for leftovers behind a cold restaurant door. Now she walked through golden halls with her head held high. Destiny did not just change. It transformed into a miracle.